Write the number 16,062 in figures. It's very simple. This is 16,062 in figures. Now, the second question, write 3/4 as a decimal. Remember, 3/4 is like this, 3/4. And if you have to write it as a decimal, you just divide the numerator by the denominator, right? 4 into 3, that's a 0, comma. Then you write a 0 here. 4 into 30, that's 7 times. Remainder 2. Then you write another 0. Now 4 into 20, that's 5. Meaning to say, 3/4 as a decimal is 0,75. That was number 2A. Then as a percentage, 2B as a percentage. Remember, percentage means you are going to multiply 3/4 now by 100. Percentage means 100. So 3/4 times 100. 4 here once, and 4 here. This is 25. Because 4 into 10, that's 2. Remember, 2 into 20, that's 5 times. Now, 25 times 3, it will give you 75%. As a percentage, that's 3/4 as a percentage. Then the next question, write down the value of root 36. The value of root 36, this is number 3 now. The value of root 36 is equals to plus or minus 6. Remember, square root of 36 is plus or minus 6. A number that multiplies itself for it to give us 36. Then the next question, which is 3b, 10 to the power 3, value of 10 to the power 3. This was A, the B part, 10 to the power 3. This means 10 times 10 times 10, which will eventually give us 1,000. 10 to the power 3, that's 1,000. Number 4, the diagram shows a line AB and a point P. Measure the length of AB in millimeters. It's very simple. You are just going to take your ruler and then you measure it in millimeters. If you measure it, you are going to have 83 millimeters. Then, the other question, draw a line through point P that is perpendicular to line AB. It's very simple. For you to draw the line that is perpendicular to line AB, through point P. Remember, to say perpendicular line means they'll be forming 90 degrees. So you are just asked to draw 90 degrees at a point P. So how do you do that? You take this instrument of yours, then this point should be exactly at P, this one. Then you draw an arc here. You don't adjust your length, you also draw an arc there. So let me place those arcs. You draw an arc here and an arc there. From here to there and from here to there, it should be the same length. Then what you are going to do is you adjust a bit. You just adjust a small adjustment, and then you draw an arc here and also another arc down. Then you don't adjust now with the same length. You also draw an arc here and also another arc down. These arcs, they should intersect. Your first arc said you draw an arc here like this, and also another arc this side. Also here an arc here, and also another arc here. You are going to see that your arcs are going to what? To intersect. And then at the center of those arcs, they are going to pass through point P. Like that. Okay, anyways, you don't use a hand, you use a ruler. Use a ruler. You must use a ruler, right? So with a ruler, you draw a straight line. It will pass through point P. It will pass through point P with a ruler. Don't draw double lines. I was just trying to demonstrate. So you're going to notice that this will be 90 degrees. That is the line that you've been asked to draw. Now let's move on to the next question. Complete this statement. 10 weeks is dash days. It's very simple. 10 weeks is dash days. So how many days are there in 10 weeks? What you have to do is you must make sure that you multiply the 10 weeks by 10 because they are sorry, by 7, not by 10. You multiply the 10 weeks by 7 because we have 7 days in 1 week. So this will give you 70 days. 70 days. The question asked us that 10 weeks is dash days. So 10 weeks is 70 days. Let's move on to the next question. Shade 2/5 of the rectangle. So the first thing that you have to do for you to be able to shade 2/5 of this rectangle, you must count how many boxes you have. And then you say 2/5 of those boxes. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 5 going down. So you just say 7 times 5. What do you get? 35. So you are going to calculate 2/5 of, which means times 35. Here once and here, that's 7 times. 7 times 2, that's 14. It means you are going to shade 14 boxes here. You shade 14 boxes. You choose the 14 boxes you want to shade. Probably you can shade the first line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You shade the 2 first lines, right? So it means you are going to shade neatly 14 boxes. You shade all these are the boxes that you are going to shade. I'm just indicating to you the boxes you shade, but when it comes to shading, you have to shade neatly, probably like this, using your pencil. You must shade the whole box, right? I believe you understood this. Let's move on to the next question, which is find the value of the reciprocal of a third. This question is asked in most times or in most cases, or should I say in most papers. But this question is very easy. You don't even need to calculate it. You should just know it mentally. The reciprocal of 1/3. It means you are just going to exchange numerator and the denominator. You understand? So it's 3/1, which is the same as what? 3. This is our answer. Now let's move on to the next one. Write 2 to the power negative 3 as a fraction. 2 to the power negative 3 as a fraction is equivalent to 1/2 to the power 3. Remember, I remove this negative sign by saying 1/. As a fraction, they said as a fraction, right? As a fraction, yes. So it's 1/8. Remember, 2 to the power 3, that's 1/8. Then next question, put one pair of brackets into each calculation to make it correct. So a question like this is very simple. What you have to do is to try to put the bracket probably in the first 2 digits and check if you get negative 16. Your bracket, if it's here, negative 12, and here just after 4, here minus 12 plus 4, you get negative 8. Negative 8 divided by 2, that's negative 4. Negative 4, negative 3, you get negative 7. So you keep trying until you get to the correct answer. But in this case, if you try to place your brackets here, let's try at the end here. Let's try. Right. 2 minus 3, let us do the calculation here. 2 minus 3, that's a negative 1. Negative 1, then you have a 4 here minus 12 plus. 4 divided by negative 1, that's negative 4. So negative 12, negative 4, it will give us negative 16. It means where we placed our brackets, that's the correct position. Then the second one, we want to end up with negative 5. For us to end up with negative 5, if you try to place your brackets here, minus 3 minus 4, you get negative 7. Minus 7 plus 5, that's minus 2. Minus 2 minus 7 minus 9, it won't give us the answer. So you try to check. In this case, let us try to place our brackets here. Here, probably here. Like this. 4 plus 5, that's a 9. 9 minus 7. 9 minus 7, that's a 2. Because here 4 plus 5, that's 9. 9 minus 7, that's 2. And minus 3. Remember, there is a negative out of the bracket. Minus 3 minus 2, that's negative 5. It means we've placed our brackets at the correct position. Now let's move on to the next Question. Write these fractions in order starting with the smallest. If you are to write fractions starting from the smallest, what we have to do is we must make sure that we have introduced a lowest common denominator so that everything will be having the same denominator. Then we just look at the numerators. It means the big numerator will be the big number, and the big denominator actually will have the same denominator. And the big numerator will be the big number. The small numerator will be the small number. So let us have our common denominator here. We have 8, 12, 3, 4, 24. Just try to look at the bigger number, which is 24. Yes, everything can enter into what? 24. So let's try to make sure that we write this using this lowest common denominator. You just say 8 into 24. That is 3 times. Then 3 times 5, you have a 15. It means this is the same. Because if you reduce, you are going to end up with what? With 5 over 8. Let's do it everywhere. 24. 12 into 24, that's 2 times 11, 22. 24. 3 into 24. 3 into 24, that's 8. Then times 2, you have 16. 24 again. This is the same as that. This is the same as that. If you reduce, you still that you get the same answer. Now, 4 into 24, that's 6 times. 6 times 3, that's 18. This is the same as that. Then, this since it has 24, it will remain as it is. Because 24 into 24, that's 1 times 13. That will be 13. And what we are asked to do is we are asked to write starting from the smallest. So in this case, you just look at the numerators. And which one is the smallest? It means that's 13 over 24. Meaning to say, we will start with 13 over 24 is less than. After 13, what do we have? 15. 15 over 24, less than. After 15 over 24, what do you have? Next number, that's 16. Oh, sorry. Let us not write it as 15 over 24. Let's write it as 5 over 8. 5 over 8. So 5 over 8. Like this. Then 16 over 24 is not actually 16 over 24. You write the actual fraction, which is 2 over 3. Then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It means 2 remaining. After 16, we have 18, which is 3 over 4. 3 over 4. After 18, what do we have? We have 22, which is 11 over 12. That's how you write it. Now let's move on to the next question. A cuboid has length 5 centimeters, width 2 centimeters, and height 3 centimeters. Draw a net of the cuboid on the 1 square centimeter grid. Okay, what you have to do first is you must try to draw this cuboid aside so that you know how it will be looking like. This is a cuboid. So we are told that it is length 5, width 3, actually width 2, and height 3, like this. Okay, so that's the cuboid. It looks like this. So we have to open it. You understand? So it means let us start with the side. If this is 5, that side is also 5. If this is 2, this is 2. If this is 3, it means let us start with the side that is 5 by 2. So you just count 5 by 2. You start here. Let us start probably here. Start here. Forget about this part. We want 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Means here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5, I want to start with the back side. It's 5, 5, and 2. 5. Okay, if I start with the back, we have 5, this back one. We have 5 and 3. 5 and 3. So 5. 1, 2, 3. Right. That's the other part. Then I might which other side that does have, so this is 5 and this is 3 and this is 3. So I'm done with the back side now. So I have to move on to the other side. 5, which is 5, 5 and 3. I also have 5 and 2. So 1, 2. 5 and 2. Then I can move on to 5 and 3 again. This 5 and 3. So you count 1, 2, 3, 5 and 3. Right, so I have 5, the back part, 5 and 3. Then this bottom part, 5 and 2. Then this front part, 5 and 3. Then the last top part, that's a 5 and a 2. So 5 and a 2. Like this. It means what just remains is these sides. The sides. And the sides is 3 and 2. So you just check where there is 3, it's here. 3 and this is 3. This is 3 and you have a 2. So you are going to open it this side. So you check where you have 2, which is this part, and then you open it from there. You have a 3 here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Also, you do the same here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Then you draw. You just join using the lines. In here, like this. You are just joining these coordinates. Like this. Next time I will try to use a marker of a certain other color, but you just join the boys. It's making no difference when I'm drawing. You just join those coordinates that I showed you. That's the shape that you end up with, a shape like this. Now the next question on this one is work out the volume of the cuboid. Give units of your answer. We are told that it's centimeters, right? So the volume of a cuboid is very simple. You just say this times that. So 5 times 2 times 3. Just multiply the size that we have. 5 times 2, that's 10, times 3, that's 30. So 30 cubic centimeters. That's the volume of this cuboid. Now let's move on to the next question. For the 6 numbers, write down the mode, B range, C median, and D the mean. It's very simple. These are the 6 numbers that we have: 0, 2, 2, 3, 4, 7. So remember, you find mode from the highest frequencies. Which one has been repeated often here? It's 2. So our mode is 2. Then range is very simple. Remember, for you to get range, you say the maximum or the biggest value minus the minimum or the smallest value. Maximum value minus minimum value. So 7 minus 0, which is the maximum, that's a 7. That is our range. Then median, remember median is the middle term. So in this case, since we have an even number, we're going to remain with 2 numbers at the center. You add them and then you divide by 2. So for you to get median here, 2 here, 2 here, you are going to remain with 2 and 3. So 2 and 3, you say 2 plus 3, that's a 5. 5 divided by 2, that is 2 and a half, or 2,5. So here is 2,5. That's our median. Then mean, remember mean is average. You add everything, then you divide by total number of the terms that you have. So we're going to add everything, then you divide by what? By 6. So let's add everything. 0 plus 2, that's a 2. Plus 2, 4. 4 plus 3, that's a 7. Then 7 plus 4, that's 11. 11 plus 7, that's 18. So it means our mean is equal to 18 over 6, which is equivalent to 3. That is our mean. That's how we calculate the mean. Now let's move on to the next question, which is number 12. Tim has a method of multiplying number by 99. He shows his method for 53 times 99, of which this is the method that Tim is using. He said 53 times 99. You say 53 times 100 minus 53. Then 53 times 100, that's 5300 minus 53, which is equivalent to 5247. That is the Tim's method. Now you are asked to work out 85 times 99 using Tim's method. Is very simple. So 85 times 99. You just follow what he was doing. You just multiply the number that you have by 100. Then you subtract the number. You understand? You multiply the number that you have by 100, then you subtract the number. That's what you simply do. To multiply anything by 100, you just add 2 zeros. So that's 8,500 minus 85, like this. That is what you do. So this one, you can, since it's a paper that you are not allowed to use a calculator, you can calculate it here. 8500 minus 85. Here it can't, so 9, 5, here it can't again. So here you end up with 1, 5 minus 1, that's a 4, here 8. So it means our final answer is 8,415. That's how you get the answer of 85 times 99. Using whose method? Using Tim's method. Now number 13. A quadrilateral has the geometrical properties: 4 equal length sides, 2 lines of symmetry, rotational symmetry of order 2. Write down the mathematical name of this quadrilateral. It's very simple. This is a rhombus. You must know properties of quadrilaterals or of polygons. The properties we are told they are for rhombus. So the name for the shape is rhombus. Now the other question, write down 2 geometrical properties of a rectangle. So what are the 2 geometrical properties of a rectangle? Remember a rectangle, let me draw a rectangle for you. A rectangle looks like this. If this is 10, this is 10. If this is 5, this is what? 5. Let me call the meters. Right. So what are the geometrical properties? The first geometrical property we can talk of here is that opposite sides are equal. Opposite parallel sides are equal. That's the first one. Opposite parallel sides are equal. This is equal to that. That is the first geometrical property. Then the other geometrical property, in this one we actually stated 2 things, that opposite sides are parallel and also they are equal. Then the other property that we can talk of if you combine these 2 properties is that all angles are 90 degrees on a rectangle. All angles are 90 degrees and they add up to 360. All interior angles are 90 degrees, or you can say they are right angle. Meaning to say they will add up to what? They will add up to 360 degrees. Now let's move on to the next question. The parallel sides of a trapezium have length 6 centimeters, 4 centimeters. The area of a trapezium is 15 square centimeters. On the grid of 1 square centimeter grid, draw a trapezium with this length and area. Okay, it's very simple. Since we are told that we have 6, the parallel sides is 6 centimeters and 4 centimeters. That's the parallel side. So we are saying we'll be having 4 here and probably 6 down. We now have to calculate the what? The length. The length of the height. Remember, for us to get area of a trapezium, the formula is half sum of parallel sides times height. And then it will give us answer of the area. This is the area. So let us calculate this height. Since we already have the parallel sides 4 and 6, we want to know, so what do we have? What is the height? So now, the perpendicular height. It's a half sum of 6 plus 4, which is 10, times height. It's giving us what? They told us that 15. Okay. It's giving us 15. So here, that's if you reduce it, that's 5h equals to 15. Meaning to say our height, you divide both sides by 5. And you end up with what? 3. Our height is 3. So it's simple now. It's easy now. Let us just, please remember, it's perpendicular height. Meaning to say it should form 90 degrees. So let me just have my 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my 4. And my perpendicular height should be 3. 1, 2, 3. And my other parallel side is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. You have to double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then you take your ruler and you draw your trapezium. You draw your trapezium with a ruler. I'm going to use a hand, but you must use a ruler. So that's our trapezium. This one. This is the trapezium with the properties that we have been told. That will be our trapezium. That's how you draw it. Now let's move on to the next question. Complete the table values for y equals x plus 3 in brackets, x minus 2 in brackets. So it's very simple for us to complete the table values. You just switch the x value for you to get the what? The y value. So for the first one, if you switch the x value, you say y is equals to minus 3 plus 3. Then here minus 3 minus 2 like this. So minus 3 plus 3, that's a 0. 0 times anything is a 0. It means this is a 0, right? Then this one, minus 1 plus 3, that's a 2. Then here, minus 1 minus 2, that's minus 3. So 2 multiplied by negative 3, that's negative 6. So here we have negative 6. Switch 0, 0, 0. 3 times negative 2, that's negative 6 again. Then 2 plus 3, that's a 5. 2 minus 2, that's a 0. So 0 times anything is a 0. Now you switch 3. 3 plus 3, that's 6. 3 minus 2, so that's 1. 1 times 6, that's 6. We are done writing the values on the table values. Then the next question is asking us to, on the grid, draw the graph of y equals to x plus 3x minus 2 in brackets for minus 4 up to 3, for values of x from negative 4 up to 3, as we are shown on the diagram. So we are just going to draw minus 4 semicolon 6. So minus 4 semicolon 6 is going to pass through my table values. I hope that you are done drawing the table values. Or let me write it down here. The table values. I have minus 4 and 6, minus 3 and a 0, minus 2, minus 4, minus 1, minus 6, 0, 6. Then I also have 0 minus 6. Then 1 minus 4, 2 and a 0 and 3 and a 6. So these are my values on my table of values. Right. Let me erase here. Let's draw the graph. Minus 4, this is x, this is y. Minus 4 and 6, minus 4 and 6, this part. Then minus 3, 0, minus 3, 0 is here. Minus 2, minus 4, again. Minus 2, minus 4, it will be somewhere here. Okay, let me just draw it. Let me just, minus 2, minus 4, it will be somewhere here. Then, minus 1, minus 6, minus 1, minus 6, it's somewhere here. And 1, I said minus 1, 0 and negative 6, it's here. Then 1, negative 4, 1, negative 4, it's here. Then 2, 0, it's here. Then 3, semicolon 6, 3, semicolon 6, it's here. Like that. So we are going to draw. I'm going to remove again the point that was here. Then you just join, don't use a ruler. Right? Here you go down a bit since it's a curve. Like this. So your graph has to come out like this, and this is the graph of what? It's a graph of y equals x plus 3, x minus 2. Then other question here, it's asking us to write down the coordinates of the lowest point of the graph. Coordinates. So the lowest point of the graph, you could do this. Depending on your graph, here I think this is minus 6 semicolon 2. So it's a 0 semicolon negative 6 comma 2. So it depends on your graph. It could be negative 6 comma 3 depending on your curve, right? So these are because this is the lowest point, right? This is the lowest point. So it's not a 0 actually. It's not a 0 at this point. This one can't be a 0. It's minus 6 semicolon 2 and a 0 is here. The point that you actually want is this one. So you also go up to check. This could be negative 0 comma 7 semicolon negative 6 comma 2. It depends on how you are going to draw your graph. Your graph, it depends on how you draw your graph. That is what determines the value that you get there. That is what determines the value that you get there. Right, I'm just using estimation, but the actual, this one has to, if we had used the actual graph, it could be probably somewhere here. With negative 0 comma 5. If you use the actual graph, not the one that I'm using on the board, it should be negative 0 comma 5. Semicolon negative 6 comma 2. Here it depends on because this is the coordinate that we want. Remember the question wants you to write coordinates of the lowest point of the graph, which is this one. So you check your x here, your y here, and your x this side. Remember this is the x-axis, this is the y axis, right? The y axis, this one. Now the next question, write down the equation of the line of symmetry of the graph. This is very simple. The equation of the line of symmetry of the graph is this one, where the line that is cutting the graph passes through this point. The line that is cutting the graph into two equal parts, that's x is equals to negative 0 comma 5. That is the equation of the line of symmetry of the graph. Then last question on this one, use your graph to solve the equation x plus 3 and x minus 2 equals to 3. So you go to where y is 3, which is this part with the ruler. You go to that point and also to this point. You have to touch your curve. Then you come down to check the answers. Here down to check the answers. Remember, this is not the actual graph. On the actual graph, you get accurate answers. But using what I have here, so it means my x would be negative 3 comma 3 or 2 comma 2. Like that. These are my values using the graph that I have here. But if you use the actual graph, you could get answers that are probably closer to this one or exactly these ones. It depends. I hope that you are understanding how we solve this. Now let's move on to the next question. Beth thinks of a positive number n. She squares n then subtract 55. The answer is 9. Work out the value of n. This is very simple and straightforward. You just have to write what you are told. Beth thinks of a number n which is positive. So we should keep in mind that our n is positive. She then squares n, that's n squared. Then subtract 55, the answer is 9. So minus 55, the answer is what? 9. So we are asked to calculate the value of n. Remember, since it is squared, it means we are going to get two values, but the one we want is the positive one, because we are told that she thinks of a positive one. N squared minus 55 minus 9 equivalent to 0. Now n squared minus 64 equals to 0. It's up to you. You can apply the concept of difference of two squares here, or you can switch the 64 n squared equals to 64 to the other side. Then you remove the squared sign by introducing the square root sign. This cancels out that, so n is equals to plus or minus 8. Since Beth thinks of a positive value, it means our n is equivalent to 8, just positive 8. 8 without a sign. Remember, if there's no sign, it means it's a positive sign. Now let's move on to the next question. The diagram shows point P and 3 triangles A, B, and C on a 1 square centimeter. Find area of triangle B. It's very simple. Remember, area of a triangle is just half base times height. So our base here is 1, 2, that's 2. Going up is 6. So half times 2 times 6, our answer will eventually become 6 square centimeters. 6 square centimeters. That is our answer. Since we are told that it's in only 1 square centimeter. Right, so now write down the coordinates of P. So what are the coordinates of P? Okay, let me double check with this one on the actual diagram. Coordinates of P, this is negative 3, 4, and 4. So coordinates of P is 4 semicolon negative 3. These are P coordinates, right? Then work out the coordinates of P after translation, negative 20 and 12. We just add, right? So 4, negative 3 after plus. What is the translation vector? Negative 20 and 12, right? So the coordinates will eventually now become 4 plus negative 20, that becomes negative 16. Minus 3 plus 12, that is 9. So negative 16, semicolon 9, or as a column vector, negative 16 and 9. Those will be they asked what? The coordinates. So the coordinates is negative 16 semicolon 9. Those will be the coordinates of P. Now, next question. Draw the image of triangle A after reflection in the line y equal to negative 1. Line y equal to negative 1. We are reflecting what? We are going to reflect A. We are reflecting this line y equal to negative 1. Okay, I'm going to use a line. So this is the mirror line. So since this is the mirror line, we're just doing the opposite. This point from here to there, that's 1. So from here to here, we have this point. Then 1 also, so 1 also. It means this 1 semicolon 0, it becomes 1 semicolon negative 2. These are negatives, right? 1 semicolon negative 2. And this one, which was 2 semicolon 0, it becomes 2 semicolon negative 2. And this one, how many? It's from here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. So from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it becomes 2 semicolon negative 5. Then you join. This will be the image. Reflection of what? That's drawing that image of A after reflecting the line y equal to negative 1. Then describe a fully single transformation that makes triangle A onto B. Okay, this is very simple. Triangle A onto B, as you can see, this is enlargement, right? That's the first thing, is the enlargement. And another thing we have to take note of, we have to know the scale factor of the enlargement. What is the scale factor of the enlargement? This 1, 2 divided by 1 is enlargement scale factor 2, right? Then, for you to know center of the enlargement, remember, you have to join corresponding points. So if you join this and that, it will probably pass through, I think, this point. If you join it, that's, we are looking at what? We are looking at the center of the enlargement. Center of the enlargement. Then if you join this and that, it will pass through this again. This and that also pass through this again. It means if the enlargement scale factor 2 and center of the enlargement, it's -1 semicolon 0. That's how you describe fully the single transform that makes A and to B. Then lastly, on this question, triangle A and triangle C. So we now want to describe triangle A and triangle C. As you can see, this is rotation and it's 90 degrees clockwise. 90 degrees. And as I told you, it's 90 degrees clockwise. Center of the rotation is 2 semicolon 3. If you are not understanding how we get this, how we simplify transformation, just look at the lessons at Sample TV whereby I was explaining how to simplify this. Now let's move on to the next question. By writing each number in the calculation corrected to one significant figure, find an estimate for the value of 17,8 plus 10,3 over 5,5. Here they are just trying to test if you know how to round this corrected to one significant figure. So how do you do that? It's very simple. This becomes 20 plus 10 over 6, like this. So it will eventually become 20 plus 10, that's 30. 30 over 6, which will give you 5. This will be our final answer. Now let's move on to number 18. Number 18, find the highest common factor of 66 and 110. Highest common factor of 66 and 110. 66 and 110. So what you do, you first express them as products of their prime factors in index form. Then you apply the short method that I taught you. Right, so 6, 6, you just do this 2 here, that's 3, 3, then 3 here, that's 11, 11, 1. So this is the same as 2 times 3 times 11 for 66. You do the same for 110, 110, 2 here, that's 5, 5. Then 5 here, that's 11, 11, that's 1. So 110 is the same as 2 times 5 times 11, like this. What I'm asked you to find is highest common factor, HCF. So HCF is very simple now. Just find the common factors, highest common factor. You have a 2 times 11. So it means the highest common factor is 22. Meaning to say, 22 is the biggest number that can enter into 66 and 110 without leaving a remainder. Next question. P is the prime number. Write down the value of P that satisfies the inequality 13 P 19. This means P is greater than 13 but less than 19. And we are told that P is the prime number. So which prime number is in between here? We only have one prime number here, which is 17. Because this means we are starting from 14. If it's an integer, right? 14, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So these 5 numbers, the only prime number we have is 17. So our answer is 17. Now let's move on. Write down the inequality represented on the number line. The inequality represented on the number line. I want you to look closely. We have a -2 and it's shaded. And we also have the biggest number that we have, that's 7. So if it's shaded, it means it's a not strict inequality. It's a not strict inequality. So you write a sign like this, which you'll be having an equal sign down. Now let's look at where there is 7. It's not shaded. Where there's 7, it's not shaded. So it means that is what is being represented by our inequality. X greater than or equal to negative 2 but less than 7. Let's move on to the next question. Set. It's set now. Use set notation to describe the shaded region. Oh my god. This is very simple. The shaded region is just J union K. J union K. That is what is shaded. Because J is shaded, the O of J, and also the O of K. So that's J union K. That's the part that is shaded. Next question. Work out 2 and 7 over 9 times 1 and 1 over 5. Give your answer as a mixed number in simplest form. So the first thing you do here, you must change this into improper fraction, then you simplify. 9 times 2, that's 18. And 18 plus 7, that's 25 over 9 times. Here, 5 plus 1, that's is 6. So 6 over 5 like this. Then you just reduce for you not to have complications. 5 here once and 5 here, that's 5 times. 3 here twice, 3 here thrice. Then you just simplify. 5 times 2, that's a 10. 3 times 1, that's a 3. Then leave your answer as a mixed number. Have you been told that? They said give your answer as a mixed number in its simplest form. Yes. So as a mixed number, you have 3, remainder 1 over 3. Because we've got 3. 3 is in 10, remainder 1 over 3. This will be our final answer. Now let's move on to the next question. The mass mkg of a stone is 3,2 kgs. Correct to the nearest 100 grams. Complete this statement about the value of m. Okay, we are told that mkg is 3,2 kg. Correct to the nearest 100 grams. And we are asked to complete this to the nearest 100 grams. So we have this m and this. We want to write, okay, this is very simple. It means here we have to write our lower bound. But the lower bound should be the one that will end up giving us a what? A 2. And here we write our upper bound. But the upper bound should be the one that won't give us 2, the one that will go ahead. So here you just write, if you know your lower bound, you just write your lower bound that will give you this. So the lower bound that will give us this. Remember, for us to get to the smallest number that can give us 2, that's 3,15. Because 3,14 will give us 1. You understand? So 3,15, 3,16, just going up, it will give us what? 2. So here is 3,15, 3,15. Yeah. Then the number that won't give us m. So what is the other number that will give us m? We just say plus 1. The other number that can give us m, that's 3,2. Now 2,2. Sorry, no other comma. 24. This will give us 2, but we want the one that won't give us 2 because there's no equal sign. So just say plus 1. It will be 3,25. That's what your answer will look like. It's all about upper bounds and lower bounds. That's the concept that they are trying to check if you know that concept here. Now, next question. Factorize. You know, questions of factorization, I don't know, is it because they are now don't know how to ask or what? They are very, very simple, these questions. In fact, mathematics is very simple. Simple more than the word simple itself. Now, let us factorize. You just take out the common factor here, and for the numbers, the highest common factor here, that's 3. Algebra, you can find here and there, that's x, right? That's the highest common factor. So, we just deduce now. 9x divided by 3x, you end up with 3. Was 3 into 9, that's 3, x cancels out, x minus. Here, that's 2, x cancels out, x, you remain with 1. This will be your answer. Now, let's move on to the next one. Expand and simplify. Expand and simplify. Let me erase this first. Expand and simplify. 2x plus 3. x minus 4. You are asked to expand and simplify. Remember, this double bracket expansion. This multiplies that and also this multiplies that. You can expand it like this. 2x, x minus 4 plus 3x minus 4. If you do this method, you won't make any mistake. Then you start to expand. 2x times x, that's 2x squared. Then here, that's negative 8x here plus 3x and here minus 12. Then you simplify like terms. So you end up with 2x squared minus 8x plus 3x, that's minus 5x minus 12. This will be your final answer. We have expanded and simplified. Now the next question. Solve the simultaneous equations. Solve the simultaneous equation. There are so many ways of solving the simultaneous equations. I don't know which one you like the most. 2y equals 3. Then 3x plus 4y equivalent to 27. Equivalent to 27. I don't know which method you like. Last time I solved the simultaneous equation using substitution method. So this time let's use elimination method. So if you had used elimination method, I don't like elimination method because it's a bit long to me. But let me use it for you to know both methods. We just have to multiply this one by 2. So we have 10x plus 4y equivalent to 6. Now this becomes our equation 1 and this becomes our equation what? 2. We now do with this because we have same coefficients here. Since they have the same sign, we're going to subtract. So we say equation 1 minus equation 2. And what are we going to get? 3x minus 10x, that's negative 7x. 4y minus 4y, that's a 0. So we have eliminated the y equals. Then you now say 27 minus 6, that's a 21, like this. Then you have to reduce, or we have to find the actual answer of x by reducing or dividing both sides by the coefficient of x, which is negative 7. Now x is equivalent to negative 3. It means this is the value of x, negative 3. Then for us to get the value of y, it's very simple. You just have to take this value and you switch it in any of the equations, any you want. I might go with the first one since it does have these small numbers. The first one, which is 5x plus 2y equals to 3. So 5 times negative 3 plus 2y equals to 3. Here negative 15 plus 2y equals to 3. 2y equivalent to 3 plus 15. So 2y equivalent to 18. You divide both sides by 2. Y is equal to 9. This will be our answer. Y is equal to 9. Meaning our values, therefore, x is equal to negative 3 when y is equal to 9. If you want to prove this, you just have to substitute in any of the equations. You see that the right hand side will be equal to the left hand side. Let's move on to the next question, which is the last question. Yes, it's the last question, number 25. Number 25. Number 25. The diagram shows a shape made from two different semicircles with the same center. The radius of the large semicircle is 7 centimeters. The radius of the small semicircle is 4 centimeters. Work out the perimeter of the shape. Give your answer in terms of pi. If you are asked to calculate something and you give your answer in terms of a certain algebra, it means that algebra should be there. You don't have to simplify it. So let me draw the semicircles that we have. Here, they said this radius is 4 centimeters and this radius is 7 centimeters. And they want us to calculate what? They want us to calculate the perimeter in terms of pi. The perimeter in terms of pi. Now, look at this. Remember, perimeter of a circle is equivalent to 2 pi r. But you are told to calculate in terms of what? Of pi. Since this is a semicircle, it means you are going to calculate perimeter of the whole circle. Alright, or in simple terms, perimeter of a semicircle is just pi r, because perimeter of a circumference, so you divide it by 2 since it will be a semicircle, and it will be pi r, like this. Perimeter of a semicircle is equal to pi r. So you're just going to say pi r, it will be easy. So this one, pi times 7, that's 7 pi. And also that one, pi times 7, that's 4 pi. It's fine. We are left with this part and that part. Remember, the perimeter of the whole shape, this plus that plus that plus that. Right? So how do we get this and that? It's very simple. Give me rest here. It's very simple. What you are going to do here, since this is 4, this also is what? 4. And since this is 7, from here to there, it's also what? 7. So this part is 7 minus 4, which is 3. And also here is also what? 3. So our perimeter for this is equivalent to 3 plus 4 pi plus 3 plus 7 pi. Let's start with pi. 4 pi plus 7 pi, that's 11 pi. 3 plus 3, that's 6 plus 6. This is our perimeter in terms of pi. That's our perimeter. So, since this was the last question, we are done. And I hope that you have completely benefited from this revision. Subscribe at Semple TV for you to continue benefiting from these simplified revisions and also learn almost all the topics that you are struggling with, because I've uploaded them on my YouTube channel, Semple TV. Stay focused.